Happy May, everyone. Not done a video for quite some time. I don't tend to do many videos over winter, but I just thought I'd start with this one, which is let's find 3 orchids in Cheshire. So I'm in a place called Runcorn. It's quite an old industrial town. I don't live so very far from here, but I walk my dog Dennis all around here, and there's quite a few orchids in and around this area, so native UK orchids. So I'm going to find 3 today, and I'll show you the ones that I like the most. You'll be quite surprised with one of them. So I'm going to start with one I didn't think I'd find here today. So I'm right by a main road, and there's one that I particularly find here all the time. But as I was walking along, I just spotted this one, and I'll tell you a little bit about it and maybe show you more of this one in another place. But let's have a look at this one. So this is one lone example just sat on this embankment. So this one is called Dactylorhiza praetermissa, and this is the Southern Marsh Orchid. Now this is all over the place here, certainly all over the canals around here. I've been watching these for years, but they're always in damp areas, usually at the bottom end of fields or the bottom end of swampier areas. And there's a southern and a northern, and as far as I can tell, we only get the southern here, even though we're in the northwest of England. But the difference is in the little bit of the shape of the flower and the height usually. Now this is quite small, but I'm pretty confident this is a Southern Marsh Orchid. And as you can see, it's got chipped leaves quite a bit now. It's the end of May 2026, and we've just had the 2 hottest May days on record. And I think what's happened is these have come out early because of that. What's also helped is with no mow May, they don't get like these areas don't get mowed as much. So with a bit of nice heat in May and then no mowing, these things get a chance to come out more. So Dennis is coming to have a quick look. So I'll show you a few more of these in another area, but that's probably the most common orchid that we've got around here, and it's the one that's got the most variable colour in the flowers. But I do like that one. You might think that this sea of purple is orchids, but it's not. There is one orchid in here. I'll just show you when Dennis has walked past. And when you're looking in a field like this, what you're looking for is the shape. So there's this larger head, and obviously if you get close, it's the leaf shape that you're looking for. You can see this is a lighter version than the ones I showed you by the road, but still very clearly by the flower shape you can definitely see it's Dactylorhiza, and almost certainly a praetermissa. The sea of purple that you are seeing, there's the bit that confuses you when you're looking for these orchids from a distance. You got ragged robin, this little taller one, and then you've got like red clover, the one that's this one. Yeah. So they're the ones that confuse you from a distance when you're looking for Dactylorhiza. But again, when there's a sea of that purpley colour, what you can then use is you can use shape. So you're looking for that taller flower spike, and obviously the fatter head. So if you see a load of these, you're probably in the right place. And then occasionally you'll spot a shape in that colour that is a Dactylorhiza, and it's quite clearly an orchid. You don't even need to go to leaf for that. You can just literally do it by this time of year. You can just do it by the flower head itself. And again, even in a sea of purple, you can spot them a mile off just by shape like this. So they're very common, certainly in Cheshire. We find these all the way down all of the canals, anywhere that's boggy. These are out in the sun all the time, but they do like it wet. You'll only find them at these. I mean, that's actually a pond in there, so you'll find them all around the pond area. I suppose you can call it marginal
and you'll see them as I'm walking along. I'm literally surrounded by them. So look out in your meadows, look in the wet areas. Unlike some of the other orchids that you'll spot. There, right by a ranunculus, is a very dark one. Look at that, that's lovely. This is ranunculus here. But look at that, it's beautiful. Hidden away in this mass of purple, which, oddly, in that purple out there, I can't see a single orchid. So it must be drying up there a little bit. Whereas at this leading edge where it's a bit damp right at the lower end of the field, I'm seeing probably every 20 or 30 yards, I'm seeing 2 or 3 of them just popping up. Here we are at the very end of this field, surrounded by red clover, as I said, but look at the colour of that. That's such a lovely orchid. Nice and dark, maybe because it's in shade a lot more, I don't know. And all of the ones down at this end of the meadow do seem to be the darker purple, so I don't know whether that's responding to the conditions here or whether it's just random. But yeah, you can see them all along this edge. If it focuses, the purples that you can see there, they're all Dactylorhiza praetermissa. They are very variable. This is a much darker one. Same end of the field, darker end. And here we've got both dark and light, but all exactly the same. All the Southern Marsh Orchid, all around me. Again, you can see lots of other purple flowers, but the big fat heads is the giveaway for the marsh orchids. So same field, here's a great example. You can see this is now a dip in the field because you can see the tractor marks here, and water is collected down at this end of the field. And guess what appears? Dactylorhiza praetermissa. I'm in the sun there a little bit. Another lovely example. And again, if I look around, I'll probably find yet another one there. So it's definitely a plant that likes the wet. And as we walk out of this boggier end, they just stop. And we won't see them again until it gets boggy again. There are lots of purpley things that look like they are. But obviously they're not orchids. You can spot the orchids a mile off. There's one over there in the distance. I don't know whether you can see it. And there's one right under my feet, so I need to be careful. So yeah, still wet in this area. So we've got the Dactylorhiza popping up. Now the second one is probably my favourite orchid species in the UK. You don't see it that often, although it is fairly common. Around here, it's all over the roadsides because it likes disturbed ground. So if you can find somewhere like the side of a road where it's been dug up, then you'll find little batches of them. I mean, this is the biggest batch that I've ever seen this year because of the heat, as I've already mentioned. And it's been wet and hot. I think basically it's been the right conditions for these. But this one is in a shaded area, and I spotted this just walking past it, and you can really clearly see the kind of the look of the bee. Now that bee doesn't pollinate this anymore. I believe that these are self-pollinating now, and if that's true, that wouldn't surprise me. How prolific they are now, how they're getting around all of these areas. But as I've said, you'll find them mostly on roadsides where there's disturbed soil. They seem to like it when things have been dug up. So what you don't want to do is get your dog to walk all over it, do we, Dennis? Come out of the way, bud. As you can see, this is quite a tall one. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4. It's got 5 flowers open, and it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more to go. So I'm going to watch this one. These are the ones that get either cut down or stolen. This is a classic case of a which is with a trowel. You know, I'll see these, and the next time I come I'll see a hole in the ground. So chances of this lonely one surviving very long, I don't know. You see these pop up on eBay, which is really quite depressing. But these are a stunning little flower. They're absolutely gorgeous when you get up close to them and you have a look at the way that the petals are organised, the sepals, you know, and the actual flower itself. It actually does look like a little bee, even if it isn't a bee that's around here anymore, which again is quite sad. So for this next bit, I've had to come off the main road a little bit. I'm still at the back of an industrial complex. You can see the containers over there. This is a place called, I can tell you this one because this is an actual nature reserve. This is called Oxmoor, and I think it's sponsored by Holland Borough Council. But in here, it says, among other species, from the meadow contains yellowwort, fleabane, as well as 3 orchid species. So all 3 are here, the 3 that I'm actually going to talk to you about today, or have talked to you about today. But the one that I wanted to come here to show you is one that it doesn't appear out in the open, or even really out in these meadows. You'll get the Dactylorhiza in these meadows, in the damper ends of the fields, and the bee orchids on the edge, but you don't get this next one. So let's go along until I'm in the shade and in the woods a little bit, and I'll show you the next one. So this one, we have to come away from the meadows and the sunnier areas, and you only look in the trees and under cover. These, I've never yet found one of these out in the open. And straight away, just looking along this edge here, I can see one right there. They're very hard to spot. My finger's getting in the way there. Right there. So this is Epipactis Helleborine. So it's the broad-leaved Helleborine. I'll try and show you one a bit closer. I've got these wild in my garden actually. Here's one here. Now I can't show you these in flower because they don't flower until July. I'll show you one on the screen what it looks like. I draw these a lot. But you can spot them. These are the ones that do look like plantain, but without the rib. This is plantain. It's got the rib, so you can see there's a little bit of ribbon. But when they're younger, they don't have that much. But all the way through this wood, you can see there's one there. They're actually everywhere through this wood. And these are a gorgeous flower. They're a longer, taller flower. They take quite a while to come up. You'll see them in hedgerows where they're under cover, and you'll definitely see them like here under cover. They're all around here. I'm literally surrounded by them right now, all the way through this grass. If I move this tree, I'm almost certain there'll be one under. Yep, there's one. You can see it there. So this is probably, and I don't know this for sure, this is probably the most common of the certainly of the Epipactis Helleborine, as I say. But it's the one I see almost every single walk, and I spot them very early on in the year coming up. As you come out in the sun into the meadows and into the fields, you won't find them at all. They're literally hidden just under those hedgerows and under those trees. Now you will find them sometimes in grass verges, so, and you can find different variants of them. So I can see dark in this same area. There's dark and light versions of it. As you can see there, it's this was out in a bit more of the open, but still very covered most of the day. And they are. It's probably the one that I draw the most of all of the UK orchids. I'll show you that on screen now. It's one that I've been drawing for a few years now, so I know the flower quite well. And as I say, this one grows native in my garden anyway, because we live under trees. Our garden's mostly shaded by trees. So again, another amazing orchid.